Hi everyone, it's Mike with Crane Realty. It's February 1st, so we're at the start of a new month and able to review last month's inventory. I know when it comes to the amount of new listings hitting the market, that's really a driving factor for a lot of people. Whether it's a seller and you're trying to determine is right now a really good time to list. If there's a real lack of inventory, then certainly if you can make a decision the current month versus the months to come, that means that your property is going to be one of the few on the road and people are going to want to see it because they don't have a lot of options. On the flip side of that, for buyers, certainly anything that does hit the market, you're just kind of eager to see and take a look at, and it's unfortunately driving up competition. So, how did things fare for the last month, January 2023? Let's jump right into the numbers. All right, so I'm going to be reviewing the last 10 years, specifically focusing on, the past year. We'll be looking at the number of new listings, and we'll be doing that by group with month. And we're going to be looking at Ontario County, and then after that, I'm also going to be reviewing Monroe County as well. For those that are curious, just a really quick chart to see what that looks like. We have these summer peaks, the spring climbing, hitting its climax, and then coming down to that backswing of the market, if we'll say. So we're slowly starting to climb right here, but let's click on data. Months of January, usually over 200 new listings, but coming down here over the last 5 years, consistently close to 200. And then 2021, we really feel that drop off coming close to 130, then 145 almost with regard to last year. So we were off to a fairly decent start last year. This year, just really not too much as we just got to 112. Coming off of December, the previous month to that was actually an all-time low. In fact, out of all of the previous months over the last 10 years, this past December for Ontario County, the lowest number of new listings. So if you are a buyer out there and you have been looking over the last 2 months or so and you just feel that there's not a lot of options, be patient. We're going to start seeing the months begin to bring in more new listings. I certainly think February will have more new listings than the month of January. I know for myself, I had a handful of sellers. They were tentatively thinking about January, and then just by circumstance, things kind of pushed into February. So obviously a dip in what I was expecting for January, and then it's kind of creating a little bit of a surplus in February. I can't speak for all agents out there, but perhaps maybe that's what they're experiencing as well. Let me flip on over to Monroe County because I thought Monroe County actually had some interesting information for us as well. Very similar with regard to Ontario County. Click data again, usually always over 1,000, and then getting close to 1,000, and over the last couple of years, steadily decreasing, just edging out 600 plus. The month of December again was just able to get a hair shy of 450, and basically the difference to that, roughly 200 new listings. So not a really big jump. We have a number of different agents in the Rochester area. I've communicated with them, just kind of getting a feel for what they're experiencing. And they basically echoed a very similar statement. There's just not a lot of inventory. The population density in Rochester is obviously greater than anywhere out in the Finger Lakes area. So but it's echoing a very similar sentiment as far as the real lack of inventory. Hopefully, again, we'll start seeing that on the rise. I would certainly advise, as far as any buyers or sellers out there, buyers specifically, get your affairs in order, be hungry, continue to look at anything out there. And if there is any properties that are lingering on the market, if they fall within your criteria of what you're interested in, start getting creative with it. Perhaps that seller has softened. Maybe it's time to actually decrease that property a little bit more in price and let it go for a price that you would find to be acceptable. And likewise for sellers, if you're thinking about selling, This information indicates that now's a really good time. So hopefully you found this information helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. Again, I'm Mike with Crane Realty, and I hope you have a great day.